That's the week after the big weekend. If you look at it and consider, we decided to go to June, which was differing from the MCR bylaws that suggested we needed to do it in April or May. But April and May are probably the two worst times to try to do a convention because you got high school graduations, you got college graduations, you've got the N-Track convention or the N-Scale convention in Columbus, usually in the middle of May, and then you have Memorial Day. Well, all that's behind us now. So this is a good opportunity for people to get involved and come to these things because all this other stuff is out of the way now. Um, so go to the next chart, Mom. It's going to be at the Marriott at the University of Dayton. It's downtown. It's in the center of Dayton or in the center area of Dayton. It's central, all the locations. Best of all, it's 2 blocks from Carillon Park, which is one of the great opportunities you have if you come to take a little walk up there, get half-price tickets, and you can go to the Carillon. They got a train there you can ride in there and everything else. We'll talk more about that later. Again, there's the address on it. And by the way, I've given all these charts to Bob, so anything that you see in here don't get, he can either print it out and give it to you or mail it to you or whatever. There's nothing in here I'm, going to hold my feet to the fire on, except the date and the price. Central location to date, like I said, it's right off of I-75 and US 35, literally right on the corner. Can't miss it. 2 blocks from Carillon. Next chart. Registration is online, and we'd like to do all this on electronically through RegFox, and I'll give you some other information in a minute. But we have a reduced price for family members. We have a limited access to outside events, which we can get into, such as Hawthorne Hill, which is the Wright brother or the Wright family mansion, which sits in Dayton. And it's a very interesting tour to take, but you have to have reservations for that, and it's limited to 14 people. And we've got 2 of these windows to go through, so we can take up to 28 people in there, but on 2 different days. Of course, you go online and do your banquet reservation. You can purchase extra fare items, which include the limited access things like operating sessions, which when we get them posted, will be on there. And you can go back into the sessions as they go along. The reservations have to be made through the Marriott, and we want like all online reservations, well, they have to be made by the 5th of May. Any hotel reservations that are made after the 5th will not count against it, or will not count for us, and we need those counts. So you want to come, make your plans early, get your registration done, but get your hotel reservations made first. It's the best way. Next chart. The hotel is, like I said, it is a typical Marriott. It's very nice. It's just been upgraded. They've got single king or twin queen size beds in each room. Each room has a TV. There's computer, Wi-Fi access, a fitness center. Next chart. In addition to that, there's an on-site restaurant and bar, and we will have a bartender that'll be our own. That'll be out in our own area. There's a swimming pool, patio, and so on. And then, nice factor here is there's a free minibus that'll take you anywhere in a 5-mile radius of the hotel. You arrange that with the concierge, and they'll take you where you want to go, and then come pick you up at a certain time too. Next chart. Our convention activities are fairly typical. We got a lot of clinics that are going to go on. My clinic manager's been working real hard at that. Non-rail clinics, many of these clinics can be talked to as non-rail. In other words, they're not railroad specific. A lot of it has to do with the history of railroads and the history of Dayton itself, and there'll be several clinics on that in addition to that. But then there's some other things that'll be what we would traditionally think of as non-rail or wives and type of information if you wanted to use them that. Layout tours and open houses, we'll get to those in a minute, but there's quite a few of them. There's about, right now, I think we've got 18 that are committed right now for tours on uh, Friday and Saturday afternoon. And then we have an open house on Sunday for everything. Operating sessions, we're limited in a number of operating sessions we can have, but we will have operating sessions, including a T-track operating session, which is going to be a big test deal. It's new. We're the first ones to try this out. And if it doesn't work out, you need to blame Bruce DeMeyer because it's his idea, not me. Company store consignment area, typically the consignment area would sometimes called the white elephant area. I hate that term. White elephant tells me it's junk. Okay, but consignment says I got some good stuff here, and that's what we would like to be people to try to sell, not the box of parts that somebody can have for 50 cents or whatever. A T-track is going to be in the hotel. We have a large area which will house the T-track as well as the company store. It's 3,600 square feet, and half of that belongs to T-track and to an HO site, an HO switching layout, which we have, which will be up against a wall that we call the Dalmatian. And of course, we'll have an awards banquet. Next, thank you. Um, three clinic presentation rooms that are very large, the smallest of which can hold 90 people. And when we were up at Columbus, I noticed that they didn't even bother to set up the whole room because nobody could fill it anyway with all the people that were in there. It would still be short unless you put in round tables. Categories, the typical modeling. Electronics is becoming a big thing within the model railroading group. So we'll have some people talking to that, particularly 3D modeling. We've got an excellent 3D modeler, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Operations, there'll be some discussions on operations, railroad history, typically, um, how to use traditional materials. I've seen one clinic that's been given by one of our people, Phil Glebe, and he's making a building out of paper and sticks, and it's beautiful. You won't believe it. You see it. Um, he's going to brief on that. Um, and of course, people who enter contests, the contests can get involved in the MMR process and the AP process as well. So next chart. This is typically some of the clinics that are going to be given. Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus is how you move to 130 cities in the 20s, by Jerry Severson. And I'm not going to read all of these off to you. Otto von Drack, the editor of Model Railroad Craftsman, is going to be our guest speaker. But he also is going to brief on Alan McClellan's Virginia and Ohio and the impact that it made on model railroading, in addition to his presentation at the dinner. Intermodals, how we got there, good clinic on how we built the intermodal system. Highlights and exhibits from Carillon Park. This is one of those non-rail clinics. They're going to talk about how Carillon Park started, what's in it, how it's taken care of, how it's maintained, and so on and so forth. It basically is talking to railroad history. Rick Latch is going to do Beauty of Scale, which you can go. He actually built this. We had some N scalers who were complaining that our meetings were too HO centric, and Rick wanted to make a point that we don't make it renter HO centric. It just happens to be most of us are HO modelers, and those N scalers, we don't want you to feel aside. So the media scale was an attempt to show that you can take anything you want to do and you can downsize it or upsize it to fit your requirements. Next chart. There's a couple other on here that are very good, and you can look at these later. Bob's got the charts. So I'm going to do a presentation on the sugar industry. 3D printing by Eric Buck. Eric Buck is a teacher at one of the schools here in Dayton, and he teaches electronics. He teaches. He just did a presentation to us on how to build your own model railroad website. Um, but he also does 3D printing, and he does some fantastic work. So not only will he give us the 3D printing discussion and possibly some other things in that perspective, but he's also got a layout that you need to go see. It's one of the tours you definitely need to go look at. Um, yeah, Sam Swanson's going to give a presentation using, again, modeling ideas with cardstock and cardboard. Uh, Scratch Building with Wood by Ray Persing, who's AP manager for NMRA now. So he's going to do that. He's got a couple of briefings he wants to present. Again, I'm going to do another one on moving the troops. This is a World War II impact of just the concept of people recognize the fact that the railroads put out a tremendous effort just to move the coal and the iron and so on and so forth to get all this stuff built to send overseas. What we forget is that they also had to move a tremendous number of people and at the same time. And so we're going to look at that aspect. Next chart. Tours. We've identified 25 different model railroads that we can go visit to, but we've got commitments out of about 18 of them. So we'll keep pressing on the other guys. All scales, O scale, HO, N scale. And some excellent models in all three categories. We'll have a Division III open house on Sunday, which is all the railroads that we have will be open at that point from 1 to 4. And some examples are down below. I mentioned Eric Buck. That model you look at when you look at it, it's on the right side. Is entirely done with. I will say entirely. Most of it, the majority of it, is done with 3D printing. The buildings are very unique in that respect, in that he makes his own designs. If you want a building that's got 5 sides, he'll create one. Well, I don't know if he will, but he'll say you can. The one in the center, this is a large Lionel layout that one of our brand new members got involved in this. He's just turned 80, 81 at the time he joined the division, but he wanted to build a layout, but he needs some help. So we got him some help. And this is the layout that he's built, and this thing fills. He's got a large building that he calls it his Begita. It's where he does craft work and his hobby works and so on. And he's got the upstairs is the model railroad area. So you might want to go and see that. And then Gordon Carlson's Cumberland or Grafton and Cumberland is the one on the left. And that's an operating layout, and they'll have operating sessions on it. Next chart. There are a number of others, but some of these, we have about 4 or 5 operating groups besides the T-track operating function. And those will be on a first come, first serve basis. So if you want to do operations and you're there, you need to keep checking back to make sure that you get on the list that you want to go look at. And we're not going to get involved in swapping sessions for people. If you sign up for railroad number A and you suddenly decide on Tuesday that you want to go to railroad B, you better find somebody in railroad B that you can switch your card with because you're assigned to A. In 2013, this was one of the major issues we had in the convention, was people wanting to change things at the last minute and then asking us to make all the changes. It drove us crazy. So you sign up for it. That's what you're signing up for. Their sessions will be on, I believe, I believe Gordon's got them all set up for Thursday evening. It could be Friday evening, I'm not sure. But they'll all be done in the evening, so if they overrun, they don't impact meals and so on. And then T-track operations. T-track, they're going to try to set up a T-track operating function on one of the two links that go through. And these sessions there's switching to be done. There'll be card files or whatnot that have to be moved and assignments given. And each session will take, depending how good you are, from 30 to 45 minutes. Well, that's the better part of a convention, a clinic period anyway. So we'll just look at that and say there's going to be T-track sessions, and don't know how many on each one of the sessions, how many people it can take at this time. They're still working out those details, but you sign up for those during your registration. Once we get that listed, and you can come in and do that switching on the T-track at the salon, and we'll be able to do that for the daytime period. I don't know if we're going to get to them at night as well, but we want to be able to get as many people through as that want to go. In addition to that, we have an HO switching layout, which we're also going to make available. You do sign up for the T-track stuff during registration and for the first come, first serve for the regular operating sessions. Next chart. Non-rail activities. Self-guided tours. Carillon Historic Park is two blocks up. If you've never been to Carillon and you haven't heard about it, talk to somebody who's been there. It is an amazing place. It is amazing that this silly little town called Dayton, Ohio, created so many things that became a centerpiece. You know, we talk about Kettering creating the electric starter for the car. Guess where we'd be if he hadn't done that? We'd be out there cranking that mother, particularly on 12 below days. They have, and I think I've got some other information. I will give you some more information on it too. Wright Brothers exhibits. Okay, there's a Wright brother. What you see on this chart on the upper left-hand corner is in Carillon Park. There's a reproduction of the Wright Brothers bicycle shop. But the Wright Brothers bicycle shop is also a national park, and it's downtown. You can go there if you wish. You go to the Wright Flying Field, which is out at Wright-Patterson, and it's not in a enclosed area. It actually is part of the national park system. The Wright Brothers Memorial in the museum. There's a small Wright Brothers Museum and a memorial. It's on the top of the hill outside of Wright-Patterson. So if you go to the flying field, you go up to the memorial to begin with, walk through there, get your tickets to Wright Field, and go over to that. And then there's the Hawthorne Hill, which is the Wright home. And I say Hawthorne Hill is very interesting. And you get in there, you start finding about these other crazy inventions that the Wright brothers had created. These guys were amazing. For somebody who didn't have a technical degree, they created an awful lot of stuff that you don't even think about, like toasters, so on and so forth. I guess Orville Wright decided he liked to have his bread toasted at breakfast, so he created a toaster to make it that way. Little things like that. The Dayton Art Museum is up the street a ways. It's within the scope of the bus taking you there. It's one of the best art museums in the country. When the Chinese let us have the terracotta soldiers, this was one of the places they were allowed to put them. They're not there now, but they were there on the pass through. The Packard Museum. Packard was a big car company in the early years. Annie Oakley Museum out in Greenville. That's kind of a stretch to get out there. It's probably an hour's drive or close to it. But it's amazing what Annie Oakley did, number one, but the other things that had gone on in that part of the country as well, particularly during the Revolution. Dayton Dragons Major Baseball. I mentioned at Columbus that if you've never been to a minor league baseball game or any other minor league sport, you haven't got any idea what you can get into. Minor league activities, minor league athletics are not critical. You go to your favorite team's professional baseball team, like the Cincinnati Reds or whatnot, and you sit down and you went there to see the Reds win, and you're very upset when the Reds lose, and so on. But if you went to the Dayton Dragons, they don't care whether you win or lose. Everybody's having a good time. It is a one big party, and you you know the only people who really care win or lose are the guys that are trying to earn positions on the major league teams. But everybody else is having a picnic. So it's a lot of fun. Can't guarantee that they'll be open at that time, but if they are, it's worth a trip, especially if you're there. And there's many others. The next one. Uh, Again, other on-site activities, the company store, consignment areas, places you can bring and sell your stuff. Their forms are in the on our website that you can get. You need to fill out forms for selling things. And you do pay a 10% commission to the division to help pay for the convention. I say to the division, you put it to the convention. Um, there'll be raffle sales. We've been very successful in getting some raffle items. There'll be T-track operating sessions. So their on-site activities are not in the thing, but they'll be close by. Dalmatian is our HO little layout. We are going to set aside one period for the Dalmatian if ladies want to operate, and if they never had the opportunity. Jay Hedges is very good at teaching people. I've watched him work with young kids about who want to run trains. And after he convinces them that trains don't run at 100 miles an hour, especially if they're steam engines, and they're pulling freight cars, slow down, make things happen. If he never tells somebody what they have to do, he always just asks them things like, well, you have a predicament. How are you going to solve it? And, and somebody said, what's my predicament? Well, think about it. So he forces people to understand what they're doing, and it's very good at that. So they'll have one session that'll be purely for the ladies that want to go to it. And if it comes down to one, that's all we'll have. Next chart. I mentioned prototype railroad activities. I mentioned the steam engine at Caroline. Down in the lower right-hand corner, there's a picture of the steam engine. That steam engine was built in England to specific steam engine standards, with one exception. Because we have bald eagles that live literally on the edge of the park, they couldn't actually put a coal-burning steam engine, a steam boiler in it. So it's operated with electricity, but it runs throughout the park. It's a ride for people to take and so on, but it's a very interesting, just looking at looking at the engine itself, it's very well put together. I made one comment to one of the assistant managers at the thing that says the only thing wrong with that steam engine is it's too clean. I never saw a clean steam engine. And again, Terralon's 2 blocks from the hotel. There's all kinds of railroad equipment that's in their car barn. There's electric cars, electric tram type cars, and so on. In many cases, there are some steam engines in there that are very old, and so on. And there's a lot of other rail equipment, historical equipment. Lebanon Railroad is 45 miles from the hotel. It's south of Dayton. It is it's a scenic ride. It's a train ride for people, but it is a functioning railroad. And next chart.
Might be a minute here. I had to admit somebody and got to get back. There we go.
Okay, celebration room. Again, typical models, photographs, crafts, judging done by AP standards. There will be People's Choice Awards. the term celebration room is something that Ray Persing personally wanted to get involved in. He said there's too much emphasis on contest and not enough on celebration. The idea being bring your best, bring your best stuff. Let people see what you do. Let people see what's going on. Awards will be given for the first, second, and third place winners, and so on, and they'll all be announced at Saturday evening. So bring your stuff. Next chart. And you're encouraged to bring your prize models, your photos, um, to get involved in model building. That's what all this is about. We're part of the model railroading group. And other than the people that we're seeing in this room that are actually doing models, most people don't model anything anymore. They buy it all ready made. So it's not model railroad running, it's modeling as well. So getting involved in modeling is one of the focuses thereafter. And those forms that are required for contest entries and all that are again listed on our website, and I'll give that to you in a second. Next chart. Banquets. There's a Saturday evening typical banquet will have four different meal choices. They have a baseball sirloin steak. It's a tenderloin. Uh, we've taste tested all this, and it's excellent food. Herb crusted salmon, if you like it, chicken Asiago. Those are both in the mid-price range, and then a vegan ravioli, which are for people who want to stay off of food and off of meat or whatnot, but still want to be there. We will have a cash bar. In fact, we'll have a cash bar probably every night in the lobby area. And I'd love to show you a picture of the dimensions of the room itself. We're not, when you walk into the Marriott, you make a left, you make a right turn after you check in. You make a right turn, walk down the hall. There's the registration tables are right there. They'll take care of registration, give you all the stuff that you purchased ahead of time. You'll have a little bag and a name tag thing that you want to keep that name tag on it. And when you go, when you come down into that, when you go further onto it, you go into another open area, which is really kind of like a vestibule, and the contest rooms are all off of that. So we're not impacting anything else in the hotel, um, and everything is centrally located, so you can get them all at. Our guest speaker at the menu is at the banquet will be Otto von Drack, the editor of Railroad Model Craftsman. He is an excellent modeler himself, and he's going to give presentations, maybe one or two of them. I mentioned one on doing Alan McCullen. He may make another one to boot. And they'll give the presentation of the awards at that. And Division 7 will give you the pitch on the next convention after this one. So next chart. So here's what you get for registration. Registration is $70 per member, $25 for family members. That's fairly typical. Children under 16 are free. Um, the number of family attendees, they will need that information as part of the reservation itself. And that thing wasn't supposed to be blue, it was supposed to be orange at the bottom. But non-rail, for people who've never been in NMRA, we'll give you a non-rail price of $90, and we'll provide you with a rail pass, a 9-month rail pass, which of course makes you a member in whatever region you're in at the time. Um, but we'll pay the application fee for you. Now, for those of us who know, this is not much of a deal. We're just asking them to prepay ahead of time and not tell them it's part of that. But we want to make that available to any people that have not been in an NMRA before, never been involved in it. If we get 4 or 5 new members in the division out of this, it'll be a well worth the application. We'll pay the fee and the mailing and application. Access registration file. This is rather interesting. I don't. It's not the way I want it, but it's the way it ended up. It's because of our mail system. To access a registration file, you go on the Division 3 website. That's www.modelraildayton.com. When you go on there, there's a logo that for the convention on the left column, and you either click on that logo or you click on the briefing that was put in there that says 2026 convention. That will download a PowerPoint chart to you. And if that doesn't, and you open that up, and then what you'll see after that, I'll show you in a second. So you download the registration file, and it'll provide you the registration information for RegFox. Everything except the hotel. You have to take that on yourself. The the website for RegFox for our RegFox is listed there. That's in blue. Like I said, it was supposed to be in orange. I'm not sure why it changed. I suggest that you go into the registration package and that you look at the rest of the registration package. Next chart, Bob. The first chart you're going to get after you log into this thing. Go on to the next one. Is this. Each one of those blue boxes will link you to the specific page. I would recommend that you download this and before you click on registration to go and register for the thing because they're going to ask you what you want to eat, that you go to the banquet menu and you review the banquet items so that you know exactly what salad dressing you're going to get with your salad, and what else is there in case it's something you're not going to eat or that you don't want to eat. And then each one of these links to a specific item. Tours will open up the tours file. Ops will open up the ops file. Again, on registration page, if it's operations you want to do, you need to sign up for them. Clinics, contest, store, extra fare, attractions. There are some attractions that require registration, like Hawthorne Hill. We only have 14 slots on each day, and which is all they let in there at any one time anyway. So if you want to go to those, you need to sign up for them then. Of course, T-Track, and of course, we'll have sponsors in there. But that's how you link to these different things. And each time you do, when you get to that page and you're done with it, you'll at the bottom it'll say, "Take me back to the home page," and you go back and get this chart and go to the next file. Okay, so next page. Okay, I mentioned this is the we're doing this in the first week in June. Division 7 is also going to do theirs in the first week in June. But the good part about it is we've gotten all the stuff that gets in our way that causes us not to be able to get these things involved in these things have been pushed off to behind us now. So they're out of the way. There's no Memorial Day to worry about. There's no graduation to worry about. Well, maybe there are, but it'll be darn few. There's no high school graduations to worry about. You don't have to worry about the N-scale convention causing us to avoid a specific week every May, um, so on. And then there's lots of things to do here in Dayton. So it's a great opportunity to bring your family with you. Come see Drayton's Great Heritage. If you don't get it all done at the convention, stay an extra day and do some other things. Go up to the museum, see the Air Force Museum. I caution you, you cannot do this in an afternoon. You'd be lucky to do it in a month. The Air Force Museum is 4 huge buildings, and they are crammed full of stuff. You can't do it in one day. You can't do it in an afternoon. You can just gloss over it. Decide ahead of time what era you want to look at if you're going up there. There's plenty of stuff to do. Carillon's down the park. By the way, Carillon has a brewery right next to it, and they also have a pretty good restaurant in there. So you can walk down there, go to the out into the park, do your thing through the park, and you can go over next door to the brew house and have a fresh brew and dinner. So we have everything for something for everybody. And everybody in the family will have a good time here. So I hope to see all of you in Dayton for June, and I'll be in the lobby with my eyes half closed because I'll probably be up the night before trying to get everything together. Because I'm also the chairman for this thing, besides being the superintendent. Um, my co-chair has already declared himself unfit for duty at this point.
Oh, jeez.
A lot of work. So that's it. Anybody got any questions? I'll be glad to answer them for you.
Hey, Eric,
Yeah.
this is Stu. Hey, I noticed that one of your clinics is about the sugar industry.
Yes.
Does that include U.S. Sugar down in Clewiston?
This is basically beet sugar.
Oh, okay.
And you kind of but cane sugar and beet sugar, there's not that much difference between them.
I know. I was just asking